You have spoken out because you fear that this attitude that you have faced by granting agencies will basically strangle innovation. I think those are your words. Can you elaborate on this a little bit?
Yes, I would be happy to. Uh, the idea is that in science and engineering, people, meaning the government, has funded science and engineering because it produces a good return on investment to the taxpayer. That return on investment to the taxpayer is to beat Sputnik, to launch men to Mars, to create cures for cancer, to create the physical infrastructure of the internet. Those are the innovations that arise from basic science and also engineering. Those are the innovations that are driven by like-minded people who are unusual, who are driven by technical things and not by people. We might have different interests in that some of us are interested in biology, some of us in physics, some of us in chemistry, some of us in software, some of us in hardware. But though that diversity is different diversity in skill set, what we're focused in on is a commitment to excellence in research and innovation. And that commitment is what drives our economy and has done so through much of the 20th century. In fact, the Industrial Revolution itself was established by scientists and engineers figuring out how to harness the power of steam and coal to make machines work. So this is all happening by innovation in science and engineering that's only driven by innovation and not by who's doing the work, not by who's doing the work. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. And so your takeaway point is if we start to rejig away from that and put other criteria in place, such as diversity and inclusion, then we're not going to get the innovation that we've had in the past.
We're not going to get the innovation because innovation happens from people who are highly committed to doing the work. As a case in point, not everyone wants to do science. Some people want to do medicine. Some people want to do business. There are very talented people who don't want to do science at all, and that's perfectly socially acceptable. But somehow it is trained in the encouragement and compassion set that people don't do science because they're being discriminated against instead of free will, differences of abilities, differences of interest, differences of any form whatsoever, even gender-based differences. Any form of differences might arise that might make people choose different things. For example, physicians are mostly female. Veterinarians are even more so female. No one complains against that.
Right.
So there are all sorts of situations where there's different breakdowns of races and gender based upon pursuits for all sorts of reasons that people are afraid to discuss. But humans are a result of biology. Biology matters, and we should take that as a consequence as well and let free will take its course and let people find what they find interesting and pursue it. But why should we force square pegs into round holes and then make the process of building the airplane or the Apollo rocket not work as well?
So what do you think the state of innovation is in Canada then?
I think the state of innovation in Canada is going to suffer, and I think it's also suffering in America. I think it's suffering in Canada in greater amount than in America. The reason is I think that Canada, in the current political climate, has a greater interest in diversity, inclusion, and equity than America. So that culture and the culture of wokeism has taken control of Canadian politics in a way that's quite large since 2015, I would say. And I did not see this in 2010. I did not see this in 2005,
Right.
but it really seems to have taken over in Canada. And I think it's a sad thing. I hope that people can stand up, and I hope the regular people can say, what we care for is innovation and excellence. We don't care about who does the work.
It seems that there is a bit of a response to it. I think of Dr. Jordan Peterson, for example, and some of his writings talking about personal responsibility rather than being pigeonholed into a group think. Is that the kind of thing that you want to see?
I cannot be a stronger supporter of Jordan Peterson and Gad Saad and others like that. I think they have been doing spectacular work. I've been a supporter of them in public and in private, and I think what they're doing is helping strengthen the universities, strengthen culture, strengthen agency and accountability, strengthen individualism, and I could not thank them both more for the work they're doing.
And this was not a setup question. I want to make that perfectly clear.
Not a setup at all. I'm a scientist. We're not here to give people false pats on the back. I really believe it.